Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us. We are in discussion with Arjuna Sirinanda, Managing Director for Fortude. How are you, Arjuna?
Very good, thanks. Kavita, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. So
Great.
We'll get started with strategy, people, process, technology, and that's what we're asking questions about today. Could you tell us, Arjuna, what you see 2021 having in store for businesses around the world?
I feel that businesses are still going to be in transition in 2021. There's a lot happening and we still haven't seen a settling down of the business environment, obviously because of the pandemic. I also think that consumers are still hesitant to spend, and customers are looking at the way things are going. They're probably saving money and so on. So I think if you look at it, there is still a lot happening out in the world. But I also think that for businesses, whilst there are challenges and there are quite a few businesses that are going through crazy times, the travel industry being such an example, there are also opportunities. And if you look at areas like industries like healthcare, there's massive opportunities. I think that along with that, there's also opportunities for businesses to look at acquisition of competitors, of complementary businesses, and it's also an opportunity to consolidate and be stronger for the next norm.
Okay, so since you spoke of the next norm, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, or VUCA, a term that we were familiar with, but we've been living through almost an entire year of VUCA shifts. Could you tell us how businesses could better prepare for such volatility?
I think they need to focus on, first of all, on reinventing their businesses. If you look at businesses that relied on traditional distribution channels, they've had to switch to e-commerce. They've had to rely on online sales and shift their entire selling model to an online or e-commerce platform. And I think if you look at it, they also need to relook at their processes, simplify, standardize their processes, and also leverage that opportunity of simplifying their processes and standardizing to actually relook at their human resource requirement, the people that they need to run their business. So that's number one. They need to reinvent. The second area is digitization. If you look at it, every business has systems, whether they be legacy systems or more advanced ERPs and various other systems. But I think what it's brought to the forefront for a lot of businesses is that without digitization and relying entirely on humans, it becomes very difficult to change your business model, to adapt. And I think that's really a clear area, a key focus area for all businesses.
70% of respondents in Deloitte's CSO survey of 2020 pointed out that critical for business growth is disruptive growth. What technology areas should businesses invest in order to confidently deliver on this, Arjuna?
So in my view, there are a lot of terms out there. There's, obviously e-commerce is one of those areas that's going to be really critical, right? But on top of that, you talk about Industry 4.0, you've got data analytics, machine-human interaction. There's a lot of areas that people talk of. My view is that, and at the top of my list is automation, followed by AI. There's lots of terms on automation as well. There's anywhere automation, autonomous automation. So there's a lot of subcategories, but I think that's a critical area. AI is too. And then the other aspect that I think is important for businesses is to focus on not just owning their infrastructure, their assets. I think it's important for them to look at the cloud as being an instrument for growth, since as their businesses grow, they can actually scale up, they can scale down during tough times, So I think the cloud is another key area that continues to be important for businesses to grow. And the third area that I would focus on is really around business intelligence and analytics. That still continues to be that area that a lot of businesses want to invest in and believe they should invest in, but most businesses are still in the stage of leveraging the various tools out there for reporting, whereas you kind of have to get to the point where beyond reporting you get into leveraging dashboards, exception-based dashboards, and then moving into the more predictive nature, gaining insights and into potential paths to map your business into. So I think those are the key areas for me.
And other business or global technology trends to watch out for? Anything that you'd like to call out?
So apart from the ones that I just mentioned and their various variations, if you want, I think the other area that clearly are the two areas for me that clearly make a lot of sense to get into is the whole area of virtual reality, augmented reality, especially in the context of the way we work and the way we collaborate. I think across all industries, and tech obviously is a key area as well. You need to find better ways to collaborate without being necessarily in the same physical space, and that's really I think so. That's an area to watch as more and more companies and more industries leverage that piece. The second area I think for me is the whole area around machine-human interaction, or IoT. I think if we look at it, whilst tech has been focused on processes and so on, the ability to have direct links, direct information flowing from machines is going to really help, and it has in the past, but I think that continues to be an area, and traditional industries have to find ways to leverage that information directly from the machines.
So will Fortude look at adopting any of these in the...
Oh, absolutely. I think for me, Fortude, and where we started off as a company was predominantly focused on ERP. And, whilst there is still a lot of business out there, there's a lot of opportunities. I truly believe we need to pivot ourselves to becoming a solutions provider. And what do I mean by that? Essentially, if I talk about some of the technologies that we just talked, say, for example, automation, we need to be better and faster at providing automation solutions to our customers. So as a business, if there are two methods of doing that. One is to organically grow a team that focuses on automation, and the second is to acquire a team. And actually I missed one, but there's a third option, which is to partner. So I have no qualms about pursuing the latter two, because from my perspective, the more value I can add to my customer and deliver solutions that matter to them will help us grow as a company.
So Arjuna, we are currently a part of the world's largest unplanned work from home experiment. What about Fortude's new model of working?
Well, I think Fortude has adapted really, really well to this experiment. I think necessity has been the driver, and for me, it's been commendable as to how our teams have here in Sri Lanka and all over the world have adapted to it and continued to deliver to our customers. And so that's fantastic. But what does the long term look like? I think a lot of businesses, including our own, are relooking and reevaluating their bricks and mortar. I think I was reading the other day that about 20 to 30% of the workforce will probably be working from home even post the pandemic. And in the case of Fortude, because we are an IT business and we've adapted well, we are looking to see how we can invest in the model, help people, build better home offices, have better infrastructure, and therefore help them to manage things better as they work from home. I think also we have to, as a business, segregate people in 3 or 4 categories. Those who have to interact, who need some physical interaction, those who perhaps can come in a couple of days a week, those who should be strictly work from home, and those obviously who would go out and visit customers. So I think it also is important for us as a business to do that. But if we look at our center of excellence, our headquarters in Sri Lanka, the building that we have now should be used for collaboration when required, but I don't necessarily see us shifting back to a predominantly physical engagement model. I think that will become the exception, whereas work from home will be the norm.
And what about challenges for Fortude's workforce in terms of work-life balance?
I think the whole concept of work-life balance should be changed, and essentially people should look at how life can be managed better, and everyone has to find that balance. Each of us is very different, and the way each of us copes with these challenges of managing life is different. So I don't have a silver bullet as an answer, but I think what will happen is people will find that balance, and as they progress, as they figure out how to focus on family, how to manage everything, and as they progress towards their goals in life, they'll find out how to manage it. I personally, whilst I have to work a lot, I tend to find ways to balance, to spend time with my family. Unfortunately, these days we are not able to vacation in the true sense of the word in terms of travel, but there are ways of things like managing physical activity, going to the gym, or going for a walk outside. There's many things that you can do to take your mind off the rigors of work, and I think each of us has to find a way. As a company, we're looking at how we can focus on people's wellness and essentially help facilitate and help coach them to make this whole work-life balance into life balance.
Thank you very much, Arjuna, for sharing those insights with all of us.
You're most welcome, and thank you, Kavita.
My pleasure, and thank you to everyone who's joined us. Don't forget that if you've got any comments or questions, you can reach out to us. See you soon and stay safe.